When Neom was first announced, many people couldn't believe it could be real. It seemed like an impossible project, but Saudi Arabia has a track record of turning ambitious dreams into reality, such as The Line, Trojana, Sindala, and Oxagon. Neom is their latest venture, a city designed to be advanced, sustainable, and unlike anything you've ever seen. The city is planned to be huge, stretching 170 kilometers long and standing 500 meters tall, much taller than the Eiffel Tower. Even though it's only 200 meters wide, it will have mirror panels on the outside. Saudi Arabia says they want to make the city a reality by 2045, but is that really possible? Let's talk about everything and find out together. When we think of Saudi Arabia, we often imagine vast deserts and a strong association with oil. While it's true that much of the country has dry, scorching days and chilly nights, Saudi Arabia's landscape offers more variety than you might expect. It features savannas, mountains, and an impressive number of over 2,000 dormant and active volcanoes. In terms of its economy, Saudi Arabia holds the title of the largest economy in the Middle East and the 18th largest in the world. But its heavy dependence on oil is quite evident. Nevertheless, the country is actively working on diversifying its economy, taking inspiration from the UAE's successful tourism initiatives. The Saudi Vision 2030 outlines the roadmap for its future development. As part of the Saudi Vision 2030, Neom is a big area in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia by the Red Sea. It's not just one smart city, but a whole region with many cities, resorts, and developments. The name Neom comes from Neo, which means new in ancient Greek, and M, which stands for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the Arabic word Mustaqbal, which means future. They chose this place because it has a milder climate than the hot deserts in the middle of Saudi Arabia, and it fits their vision for a new future city. Neom is a big project with 10 different areas, but we know about 4 of them. The first one, Oxagon, is a high-tech place for businesses on a floating octagon-shaped port. The second one, Trojana, wants to be a top place for skiing in the Arabian Peninsula. They'll use fake snow because, well, there isn't much real snow there. They plan to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games. Sindala is the third area, a resort on an island. It will be open to everyone in 2024. The Line is a special city being built between 2 tall buildings. It's all about saving the environment and having a unique way of moving around. The people working on Neom promise to use renewable energy like solar and wind power to make sure it's eco-friendly and innovative. Even though some people had doubts at the start, they are determined to make it happen. The Line is an exciting design concept where they want to build a super long city 170 kilometers between 2 tall skyscrapers. Even though the city is small in terms of land, only 34 square kilometers, they want to fit 9 million people in there, which is the population of New York City, but in a much smaller space. They plan to build the city upwards, so it's like a city in the sky. They'll use clean energy like solar and wind power, and have a fast transportation system. Everything people need will be close by, and they'll control the climate to make it comfortable. The location is great for global trade because it's near the Red Sea, Suez Canal, and an airport, making it easy to connect with the world. They'll also use artificial intelligence to make everything run smoothly. But that could have both good and bad effects, like a futuristic but possibly not so great future. It will be a smart city where you're constantly tracked for targeted ads is a big idea, but there are major challenges that might make it impossible. First, it's about the money. The project is funded by Saudi Arabia's government fund, which relies heavily on oil prices. Oil prices can go up and down, and if they invest all their money in the project, it's still not enough to cover the estimated $1 trillion cost. They need foreign investors, but they're having trouble getting them. Second, the technology they want to use for things like super fast transportation and huge mirrors doesn't exist yet. The fastest trains today go about 430 kilometers per hour, and creating massive mirrors is a big challenge, especially over long distances. Nobody knows why they want these mirrors. Lastly, there are a lot of things in this project that have never been done before, and it's unclear if they can actually do them. The project claims to have a minimal impact on the environment, but putting mirrors on the outside could affect animals. So while the idea of a smart city sounds cool, there are many practical problems that need to be solved before it can become a reality. One other major issue is the potential harm to birds and land animals. The long, continuous structure might disrupt the natural routes and habitats of migratory birds, which could be dangerous for them. Additionally, the absences of space for land animals to cross this linear city could interfere with their movement and disrupt local ecosystems. The project is also criticized for its environmental claims. It claims to be eco-friendly with zero carbon emissions, but building two huge 500-meter tall glass buildings for such a long distance using low carbon materials is extremely difficult. It would require an enormous amount of materials, and it's estimated that the project would release a staggering 1.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to the UK's emission over 4 years. This environmental impact has caused concern, especially when the line was chosen to host the Asian Winter Games in 2029, since the area doesn't naturally support winter sports like skiing. Creating artificial environments for these activities could have a substantial impact on energy use and local water resources. The design is unique, saving space, but it may create transportation inefficiencies. With only one route for transportation in the entire city, all 9 million people living there would depend on this single path. If anything goes wrong along this long route, it could cause massive transportation delays and problems. Now, let's take a closer look at some other exciting developments happening in Saudi Arabia's Neom project. Trojena is a place being built in Saudi Arabia in the middle of a desert surrounded by big mountains. What's different about it is that they have to finish building it really quickly in just 6 years. Why the rush? Because they're going to host the Asian Winter Games in 2029 and they want everything to be ready. They first talked about Trojena in 2022, a few months before they won the Winter Games bid. It's located not too far from the Red Sea, and they've been working hard to make it happen. They've dug up a ton of stuff to create a massive man-made lake in the middle of the project. They're also building something called the Vault, which is like a village inside the mountains. And they're getting started on the ski village's foundation. Some big hotel companies like Ennismore and Minor Hotels are partnering up with Trojena to build luxury hotels there. It looks like they're making good progress, but there are some concerns about keeping a winter destination in a place where it hardly ever snows. They'll have to use machines to make snow, and that takes a lot of water and electricity, which could be a challenge. Now let's talk about Sindala, another cool project in Neom. It's a luxury island resort on the Red Sea coast. They're building an 86-berth marina, 3 hotels, a golf course, and lots of nice restaurants and shops. They first announced this project in late 2022, and they're planning to welcome the first guests by 2024. This is important because it'll be the first glimpse of what Neom is all about for the public. Sindala is coming along pretty well. They've already built roads, figured out where the buildings will go, and even laid out some grass for the golf course. Marriott International is working on 3 luxury hotels there and thinks they'll be ready on time. Lastly, there's Oxagon, a floating city by the sea. It's supposed to be a big deal for business and industry in Neom. With a major port and a whole city around it, some well-known companies like IHG Hotels and Resorts, Curtin Hospitality, and Yotel want to be a part of it. But when you look at the satellite pictures, there's not as much progress as with the other projects. They've built near the port, but it's not moving as fast as the others. When we look at all the things Saudi Arabia has already built, it's clear they are very serious about making their plans a reality. However, we can't be sure about exactly how everything will turn out. We'll have to wait and see. Do you think Neom's projects will actually happen? Let us know in the comments. We're excited to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more soon.